Our next guest says it won't be just Democrats standing in their way. The Republican Party itself could be a bigger obstacle. Joining me now is a man who has been a thorn in the side of both political parties and an icon to independent thinkers, Ralph Nader, whose latest book is, oh, you ready for this one? Only the Super Rich Can Save Us. To your book later. Ralph, welcome to Freedom Watch and a belated Happy New Year to you. What do you see as the future for the Tea Party Republicans in the Congress? Will the big government Republicans co-opt them, or will they influence the big government Republicans?
That's the most exciting new political dynamic, because the authentic Tea Partiers hail from the conservative libertarian wing of the Republican Party that has been so disrespected and corporatized by the likes of Bush and Cheney. So here they come into town, and they're going to go after a lot of things that the Republican establishment is opposed to. For example, they're going to go after the Federal Reserve, backed by the banks. Already, Ron Paul, who is now the new subcommittee chairman overseeing the Federal Reserve, is marshaling up his allies, and he's connecting with Senator Bernie Sanders, who's a hyper-progressive in the Senate. They're going to go after the military budget. The Libertarian Cato Institute has said the military budget's too full and wasteful. It's got to be cut.
Right.
Again, a liberal conservative nexus here. They're going to go after corporate welfare. Bailouts of Wall Street, no more, according to them. Again, the Cato Institute and the liberal conservative connection will draw that distinction between the corporatists and the genuine libertarian conservatives.
All right, so civil libertarians and people worried about big government from both ends of the political spectrum will unite behind certain ideas. Indeed, they appear to be odd alliances, but like you and me, there's a philosophical agreement on many areas of the role of government in our lives. Question: what will John Boehner and the Republican leadership in the House do when Ron Paul aligns himself with Bernie Sanders in an effort to audit, control, or expose the Federal Reserve?
They're not going to be doing very much, because the people like Sanders and Ron Paul are very principled people. They put principle ahead of party, whereas the Republicans have been getting a unity in the last 2 years in the House and Senate by putting party above principle. The key thing is when they go after all these bloated corporate welfare, subsidies, handouts, giveaways, bailouts, they're going to alienate a lot of corporatist Republicans. But they don't care. The ones I'm talking about in the House and Senate operate on principle. They don't care if they're overruled, if they don't get the emoluments or the freebies. They're operating on principle. They're going to make an alliance with the liberal conservative, the liberal progressive. And just think of this big one, the trade agreements, which are sovereignty-destroying, job-destroying sellouts to repressive regimes.
I want to ask you one last question, Ralph, about a vote that's going to take place next week, raising the debt ceiling. Will Republicans go along with that? Will Democrats who opposed it under George Bush go along with it because the president is a Democrat? Will the Tea Party, small government, we will not spend another nickel that we don't take in taxes, libertarians stick to their guns? Or will they let the president borrow another trillion here and another trillion there?
What will happen is it's going to be raised. The debt ceiling is going to be raised because everything freezes. You know, money to pay the soldiers, Social Security, public works contracts. But what will happen is a significant number will vote against it on principle, but they'll know that they're going to lose, and the government will not grind to a halt. So you get that kind of split vote. But the first bill that's going to go through on this alliance is going to be the whistleblower bill. A strong whistleblower bill supported by libertarian conservatives like Charles Grassley from the Senate and liberals and progressives. Watch for that nexus that draws that line between libertarian conservatives and corporatists, the new dynamic in America.
Ralph, I promise we'll talk about your book on the super rich, which we will do the next time you come back here. Thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure.